Microphone helpline. How can I help you?
Headset mic, condenser, dynamic.
So, you want to buy a microphone. Maybe you got sick of your friends roasting your deep-fried headset microphone. Maybe you want to get into music or podcasting. Or maybe you just want to sound better in game chat. Whatever your reason may be, you found this video. So you want to embark on this journey of buying your first microphone. But there can be a lot of information that it can feel kind of overwhelming and you can feel lost in a crowd of a million microphones. Hi, my name's Ethan, and I'm a huge nerd. And here's the info that you will need to make it easier for you. This is going to be an absolute beginner's guide to buying your first microphone and what microphone works best for your use case. And to make it as easy as possible, every single microphone I'm going to be using in this video are under $100. Well, except the DD, but technically it goes on sale for like $100, so it counts. Shut up, I know what I'm doing. If you're looking for specific information, check the chapters below. But if you're new to microphones, I recommend watching this full video. If you're experienced with microphones, you will likely get nothing out of this video, so feel free to actually me in the comments, or help out some of the newbies that are down there as well. Okay, let's take a look at our test subjects. Right now I'm talking to the MXL440, which is a condenser microphone that uses an XLR connection. Back when I got it, you would get this in a kit with the MXL441 for around $90. Now it looks like you can only really get the solo microphone for around $150, but during Boxing Day sales, I'm pretty sure this price does go down. MXL also offers a very similar range of microphones, some of them cheaper. There is an $80 USB microphone that they offer as well. This is the Apex 850 microphone, which I've learned is also the name of a yacht. This is a dynamic microphone that uses an XLR connection. I paid $10 for these at Long McQuaid because this was in the rental circuit that got retired, but you can get these new and used for around $39 on various websites, including Reverb, Amazon, I think. If you look, you will find it. Right now I'm speaking into the Blue Snowball, which is a condenser microphone that uses a USB connection. Brand new, they run for about $69. Heh, nice. And used, you can get them from anywhere to like 15 to 20 bucks. I got this one for 15. This is the Deity V07U. This is a dynamic microphone that uses a USB connection. This microphone's regular retail costs $200, but you can regularly find it on sale for 50% off from either their website specifically or from Amazon. This is the MXL441, which is a pencil condenser that uses an XLR connection. And a pencil condenser is basically just like it's a rod. Very similar to shotgun mics, but apparently shotgun mics have a little bit less of a wide polar pattern. Overcomplicated, not necessary. We're not going to get into that. This microphone came in a package with the MXL440. And I'm pretty sure you can't get this one solo. But some of the other pencil condensers from MXL can be bought separately. We interrupt your regular schedule of programming to tell you that today's video is sponsored by me. I know, I'm pulling one of these. You can check out the merch store, link in description. We have some brand new items. Our desk mats are now in stock. It's been a long time waiting, but they are here. Please consider ordering one of these for your setup. There's absolutely no pressure whatsoever, but all of the profits from the merch sales do go back into funding the content and straight into more for you guys. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the video. The most important thing to know in the beginning is that there's two main types of microphones, condenser and dynamic. Condensers are some of the most common types of microphones you'll find when microphone shopping. That's a condenser, that's a condenser, that's a condenser, that's a condenser. Condensers tend to be very sensitive, which leads to a lot of clarity in vocal tone. This makes them a very common pick for music studios. Pretty much any song that you'll hear on the radio was recorded on a condenser microphone. This also leads to two main drawbacks. They pick up a lot more audio. This includes reverb and background audio, like keyboard sounds. That's one of the main reasons why it's been so hard to record lately, because it's been so hot in Nova Scotia. I've had to have a fan going all the time. And also I've been preparing for my first craft show, so my 3D printer's been going all the time. This is Carl. Carl will be sitting on my shoulder for the rest of the section. And second, condensers require additional power to work. We will address this shortly. Dynamic microphones are quite the opposite. They pick up a lot less audio and they power themselves. This makes them a very popular choice for stage performances where there's lots of loud sounds existing in the same space, as well as it makes them a popular choice for podcasts, where there's going to be a lot of voices in a very close proximity. These mics also have two main drawbacks. Because they pick up much less audio, it's much more pertinent to make sure you are speaking close to the microphone and directly into the end of it. They also tend to capture a much less wide range of audio like the condensers do, leading to a less rich vocal tone. There are a plethora of ways of connecting audio, such as 3.5, Bluetooth, 1/4 inch, MIDI 5-pin DIN cables. Sure, we'll count that, I guess. But the two main ways for microphones are XLR cables and USB cables. These don't tend to affect your audio quality. I know some of you gear snobs are gonna be like, oh, it's a USB compressed audio. To which I say, shut up. Kindly. Thank you. We spread love out here. In this price range, the main difference is just how they're connected. I know. Shocker. USB is typically plug and play, which means no additional hardware required. And for XLR microphones, it needs an audio interface to plug into the computer. For condensers, that's where they get their power from. See, I told you we come back to that. XLR has the main benefit of you can upgrade individual components of your setup as you progress on your mic journey. Whereas with USB, you're basically replacing your whole system. But if you hear it in a video, you're almost guaranteed to get the exact same sound out of the microphone, depending on variables, like if they're using different plugins to get certain sounds out of it. My XLR cable and my audio interface tend to create kind of a hissing sound that you might be able to hear here. Whereas the USB mics have only the USB as their hardware. This is going to be my only objective tip throughout the video, but if you are getting the USB microphone, make sure it at least has volume control on it like this one does. This is a feature that you would get on most audio interfaces, and this is not something you want to miss out on. Otherwise, everybody else is going to be adjusting their audio for you in Discord, and you're going to have to do everything in computer, which is kind of a nuisance. But with these, you can just kind of find your setting that works, and then it'll be nice and uniform all the way across. Before we continue, if you absolutely obliterate the like button in the next 5 seconds, this dog will get a nose boop. Did you do it? Awesome. Boop. One important thing to know is pickup patterns and directions. Your mic will sound like absolute garbage if you don't speak into it correctly. This is the Deity, and this is the BM800. Both of these microphones look exactly the same. They have like the exact same body shape with the same end. And I'm talking directly into the end of the Deity. So one would assume that you would also talk into the end of this one, but if you do, it will sound like this. And that's because the diaphragm of these two microphones are actually in two completely different places. General rule of thumb is dynamic microphones are usually top address, meaning talking directly into the end of the microphone, whereas most condensers are front address, meaning you speak into the front like this. Some exceptions may be the MXL441, which is a top address condenser. If you're ever unsure, your microphone should come with either a booklet or a little piece of paper that shows you what the pickup pattern is and how you should talk into it. The Blue Yeti microphone, which is a very popular microphone for some reason, has a special feature where you can actually change the pickup pattern in the microphone. Because of this, it has a ton of different diaphragms so that it can actually capture all of these different pickup patterns. But you would not believe how many times I see people online using this microphone and talking into the only spot that doesn't have a diaphragm, the top. Now that we know that, you may notice that it sounds differently when I speak into it here versus here versus here. This is because of its pickup pattern. There are three main types of pickup patterns. There is omnidirectional, cardioid, and bidirectional. Cardioid is the most common pickup pattern, and in fact, all of the microphones in this video are... Carl. I'm keeping that in. Cardioid is the most common pickup pattern, and in fact, all of the microphones in this video are cardioid except for one, which is the lav mic, and it's omnidirectional. Ethan on the Deity again. This is where there were supposed to be some clips using the lav mic. The lav mic kind of stopped working right before filming this video. So the main thing to know about lav mics is that most of them are omnidirectional. There's a lot of people who use them on like TikTok for their voiceovers and such. This just kind of gives you the main benefit of you can mount it anywhere. Now here's the MXL440 again. As I spin it around, you'll notice I get a little bit quieter on the sides. And in the back, you're basically just hearing my voice echoing. This is accentuated with dynamic microphones where as I turn it, my voice basically vanishes. Most microphones will come with a diagram that says what pickup pattern it has. General rule of thumb is if you want to record a single source, use a cardioid microphone, and otherwise consider your other options. The main reason for using a lav mic is omnidirectional gives you more freedom to mount it wherever, so it's out of sight and most convenient. Along with where you talk into the microphone, proximity is also very important. Here's me talking way too close to the microphone. Here's me talking at a good range from the microphone. And here's me talking way too far away from the microphone. Generally, you want to be a couple inches away from the microphone. If you talk too close, it'll make your voice really boomy. And if you talk too far away and boost the audio to match, you're just introducing a lot of room noise. This is gonna be horrible when I'm editing through this. Many mics come with little tripods like this, but I've actually used the tripod and put it on the desk like I have right now. Generally, it introduces a lot of the room noise, as well as it allows for some rumbling on the desk. So generally, it's better to get your microphone up onto a boom arm like this one, which came with the Deity, or these ones, which you can get on Amazon for like 15 bucks. That way we can get that mic close to that lovely face of yours. You may also want to get a microphone that comes with a shock mount like this. Basically, it just suspends the microphone in the middle, so none of the rumbles actually get to the body of the microphone. I in fact only have 2 microphones that came with a shock mount, but it's an important detail that really helps boost the quality of your video. In place of a shock mount, you can simply make sure that your boom arm doesn't go all the way to the floor, or just touch your keyboard a little bit gentler. Before I reveal the best pick, leave a comment below on which one was your favorite. Now for what you've all been waiting for, which microphone should you get? And the answer is, it depends. I know that's an annoying answer, but let's break it down. All of these mics are pretty good entry-level options and will get you pretty far before you need to replace them. Dynamic or condenser depends on your setting. If you have the extra money to put into sound treating your room to get rid of the reverb, and you care about like the extra quality and tone of the voice, I might recommend a condenser. There's also different tools, like this massive beast. Tools like this can help reduce reverb, but sound will still bounce around the room and find its way into the front of the mic eventually. It'll definitely cut that down, but it's still gonna find its way in. This, however, is still a decent option. But if you can't sound treat your room, can't get one of these, have a lot of voices, like in a podcast setting, have a really loud keyboard or a loud AC unit that needs to run all the time, I might recommend a dynamic microphone. I personally use both. I use the Deity at my desk for the main content and when I'm gaming because my room isn't actually reverb treated. But I have a closet that is sound treated where I use my condenser microphones for music stuff. XLR versus USB depends on use as well. If you don't have the money spare to put into an interface and just want something that's plug and play, USB is probably the way to go. But if you want the customizability and the additional features of an audio interface, I'd recommend getting an XLR microphone. My interface can take microphones, but I can also take 1/4-inch jacks so I can plug in my guitars or any other electric instruments that I want to record directly into my computer. With USB and XLR, both can give you the opportunity to monitor your audio as you're outputting it, so that way you can monitor your levels live. The ability to monitor your audio can be really important in situations like live streaming, where you want to be able to hear what the audience is hearing, since you can't really check that and fix that after the effect. I really only monitor when I'm recording music, but if it's important to you, check if your USB mic or your audio interface has that option. Some companies and mics to stay away from when you're shopping. Firstly, anything like the BM800, the NW800, the NW700, the Toner TC20, and so on and so forth. These mics are really cheap and for good reason. Now this mic is definitely usable, but there's so many more microphones that you can get for like just $10 more or $20 more. There are a lot of mics that are either knockoffs or re-releases from sister companies, such as these Blue Yeti knockoffs and these Fifine mics compared to these Myono mics. If you're getting an interface, get one that outputs into USB like the Behringer UMC22 or the Focusrite Scarlett. Importantly, stay away from ones like this, which was my first audio interface that came with the BM800. Simply put, these suck. They're awful. Finally, this one would be controversial, but stay away from gaming brands, such as Razer, Blue, which is owned by Logitech, and it makes the microphone that I am currently speaking into, and SteelSeries. Generally, these mics are okay. Like, you're hearing the... Ooh, bump things. Oops. Generally, these mics are okay. You're hearing the quality of one of them right now, so you be the judge of that. But most of the time, you're just paying for a brand name. And most of the time, that price doesn't actually match the quality of the microphone, or there are different companies who are audio focused who make mics way better than that for a cheaper price or a more reasonable price. Ethan from the future on the Deity. There's the other option within these gaming companies where their budget option is just absolutely garbage compared to other microphones within that price point. For a deeper breakdown on this, watch this video from the Senpai Gaming channel. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button because it tells YouTube that more people should be seeing this content. And fun fact, the majority of people don't actually watch this far in the video, so if you did, comment something about grilled cheese to confuse the people who didn't. Thank you so much for watching and happy creating.